to get going. Gotta catch those runners taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Navigation trading on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream. Happy Tuesday, January 20th. Hope you had a good long 3-day weekend. Welcome back to some volatility. S&P futures down 110, NASDAQ down 481, Russell down 52, Dow down 750. Russell is the weakest, down almost a full 2%. Followed by the NASDAQ, and then the S&P and Dow are both down about 1.5%. Metals on the move. Gold up over almost 3.5%. Silver's new all-time high, up over 7%. Notes and bonds are red. 10-year yield up 1.25%. Oil up 1.5%. Natty gas up 27%. The winter has arrived, apparently. Soybeans, wheat, and corn are all a little bit red. Euro is up 1%. Pound is up 0.5% versus the U.S. dollar. And Bitcoin is down 5%, back under 91,000. VIX up almost 8%, above 20.30. Had a big gap down Sunday night when the futures opened up. And they were down about 60. Added on another 50, 45. Last night, so getting some juice pumped in. And yes, you're not the only one seeing that. There we go. Sorry about that. We do have that UNG on our wheel position, so that'll help. Silver too. Yeah, nice little VIX gappy gap. Closed on the 16th and it was below 16. Popped up yesterday to below 19 and now over 20. Market opens in about 40 seconds. I will be doing a 1 DTE at the open. I'm going to pause my BICs just to see how things are. My first one usually fires about 15 minutes after the market opens, but I may skip that one and give it a little bit more time. Going to be plenty of premium in the options. Yeah, my bot will fire my 1 DTE. I'll let that one go right at the open, because it's a no-stop trade, so I don't care if we get a little shake and bake as long as it comes back in. There's the bell. This whole tariffs on European countries, if they don't agree with the whole Greenland thing, it just kind of seems like a buy the dip opportunity. I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but it seems like a short-lived dip. With a little taco seasoning mixed in, yeah. So, out of the gate, chip stocks are the strongest. MU is green. MU's up 1.5%, pushing above previous day high. AMD's also pushing, although still in the red from the gap down. ARM just went green. SMH is down about 1.3%. IWM is bouncing. Yeah, we do have the World Economic Forum Davos meetings. Trump is speaking pre-market tomorrow. Not a lot on the economic news front today. All right, my iron Condor just got filled. A lot of bouncing. I'm going to load up some calls in MU. I will use the 370s. It's the strongest. AMD's acting strong as well. AMD, I'm going to load those up on the 235 calls. MU popped back up. PLTR popping. MU's pushing new all-time highs. AMD just went green. S&P, NASDAQ, Russell all bouncing, Bitcoin dipping a little bit. Meta dipped to start, but it's starting to bounce. Google's acting strong. MU's holding, AMD is holding. MU pop back up to highs. If AMD can bounce here, I'm going to be watching for calls, 235 calls on AMD. MU still holding. That green line on MU's pre-market highs. Overnight highs, I guess. Watching AMD. NVIDIA kind of rolled over. MU definitely showing some strength. I'm going to take some AMD here. 235 calls got filled at 485. AMD dipped down and then popped back up above previous day close. See if we can get that previous day high and above. First trading day of the week, so I'm treating it like a Monday, so a little bit smaller size to start. Got my first profit target in AMD at 565. MU definitely showing some strength here. Hopefully AMD can follow. AVGO is acting weak. TSM's acting weak. ARM, MU, and AMD acting strong. S&P and NASDAQ dipping. AMD's now dipping. AMD dipping down to previous day low. Gonna need a bounce from AMD here to hold. NVIDIA NVIDIA pushed through pre-market lows. ARM popped up to new highs. If AMD dips a little bit more, I would add down to that pre-market overnight high level. MU definitely would have been the better one.
Autofilled.
S&P and NASDAQ trying to bounce.
Autofilled.
IWM now kind of pulling back, so is Bitcoin. Hood pushing through highs. Big banks are just kind of choppy. Crypto stocks trying to bounce. SNDK is pushing new all-time highs. MU taking a new high. Need AMD to bounce. S&P through highs, NASDAQ popping. AMD not bouncing. With it not showing any kind of relative strength, I'm not going to add. I'm just going to cut it if it doesn't bounce here. SMH is bouncing, Qs are bouncing, SPY bouncing, but AMD not bouncing. Bitcoin down to lows, S&P and NASDAQ back into range. IWM couldn't push a new high. All right, AMD is kind of right at that level now. It needs to hold. Just don't like how much of a pullback it's had compared to the, didn't bounce at all with the market, so I really don't want to add here, but I will hold. Watching SNDK here also. If I trade SNDK, I'll trade the 450 calls. SMH back down to lows. Watching SNDK here. AMD still trying to hold. All right, and AMD's dip trying to get bought up. All right, if I start to see some bouncing in SNDK, I'll take the 450 calls. All right, I'm going to take SNDK. Filled at 1460. See if SNDK can pop back through highs. Nice bounce in AMD. Keep us in the game. I just did 4 lots in SNDK because the options are so expensive. I've got my first profit target at 1690. See if it can give us a little pop through highs a day.
Order cancelled. Order partially filled. Order filled.
Nice bounce in AMD coming back down there at previous day low, and pre-market highs would have been a much better entry than I took, but coming back. And that would have been a great add. It just was showing relative weakness. I didn't like it. S&P, NASDAQ back up to highs. I'm going to move my profit target in AMD down to 550. I want to get out below previous day high in AMD if it pops. Come on, S&DK, give us a little pop. MU back to highs. Yeah, I'm in the just hit 1690 in S&DK, hit first profit target, so it took off 2 of 4. There we go, S&DK. I'll put another profit target at 1950 in S&DK. SMH back through highs today. Need AMD to push. Getting a little decay on my AMDs. I'm going to move my profit target down to 540. Just below previous day high if it can pop through highs a day. No extension in the indices. Both ticked highs of day and kind of pulled back again. This profit target on S&DK is at 1950. Should hit that if it pops low. There we go. Filled at 1950. So I've just, with the price of those, I just did 4 lots, so I've got 1 left. Nice push though. Now we just need a little extension out of our little buddy AMD. S&DK is up 8% into new all-time high territory. Not much of a dip out of S&DK on this sell-off in the indices. Tesla, choppy and weak. NVIDIA, choppy, weak. Microsoft, a little bit of strong price action since the open. Meta, choppy. Apple, choppy. Amazon, choppy. Google, choppy, although it's making its way back up to highs of day. Netflix, choppy. So all big tech kind of meh. The action is in the chip stocks, really. MU. AMD just hit a new high. Intel popping up. AMD profit targets at 540. It got up to about 520. I want to see a move up to previous day high. All right, so just got a little runner left in SNDK. I'm still waiting on first profit target in AMD. What kind of critters do you have, Watson? Chickens? Goats. Okay. You have any fainting goats? Those are my favorite. If I get goats, I'm getting fainting goats. I'm going to yell at them every single morning and laugh every time. What do you have goats for? Meat? Milk? Just pets? Lawnmowers? Yeah, they're good lawnmowers. All right, AMD's about to hit. One more little tick up. There we go. Filled at 540 in AMD. Nice rebound. Nice little rebound out of AMD. I wish I would have gotten in down here instead of where I did, but can't complain. SNDK just kind of pausing. Yeah, so whenever I moved into my current place about 8 years ago, we live on 67 acres, and I had all this. The people we bought it from were people who passed away. They were in their 90s, so a lot of stuff hadn't been touched in quite a while. A lot of overgrown stuff, and so there's this organization that's kind of about 30 minutes north of us called Goats on the Go, where you basically rent their goats, and they came in and just devoured everything. It was awesome. Oh yeah, forgot you do have a goat photo, don't you? You should. Why don't you change your name from Watson to the Goat? SNDK new highs. SNDK contract. My one left is up over 55%. So looking at a longer term chart of AMD, what I've got here, I've got the previous day high marked, and then that green dotted line is the basically a pre-market high from Friday, but it's kind of a major pivot point. So that's kind of my next target besides previous day high in AMD. S&P at lows, NASDAQ just kind of chopping, Bitcoin near lows. We definitely got some stocks with good relative strength in SNDK and AMD. AMD pushing. So I started with the 10 lot in AMD, took off 7 at my first profit target. I'll take off 2 more at 620, which would be above previous day high and below that other level I have marked near 236. All right, SNDK, are you done, or you got more in the tank for us here? SNDK looking a little short-term toppy. Bank still kind of chopping. Bank of America is the strongest. It tried to go green, but got shut down. The other two are down over 1.5%. Coinbase pushing through lows. MSTR at lows. Circle dropping. Hood pushed up to previous day low. It's getting rejected pretty good. Bitcoin through lows. S&P through lows. Apple through lows. Big tech is not strong at all. It's really just a handful of chip stocks. Here's my line in the sand for my remaining SNDK contract. Just kind of the top of that previous high of day. AMD still holding strong. Be back in 1 minute. AMD creeping towards my profit target. It's at 620. Contracts are up to about 590.
Order cancelled. Order filled.
IWM's just kind of chopping near the top. S&P near lows. NASDAQ kind of mid-range. Bitcoin is down almost 6%. If SNDK tries to bounce here, I may add, and if I add, I would just do a one lotter. AMD's kind of pausing near previous day high. I need one more little pop to hit my second profit target. Filled at 620 in AMD. Very nice. All right, I'm looking to add one in SNDK. It's kind of bouncing off that level. I'm going to give it a minute. Watching SNDK for an ad. All right, I'm taking one. Same 450 call, filled at 1960. See if we can pop through a new high of day. I'll put my profit target at 2350. That might be a little aggressive. How about 2320? If we go below that line on my chart here, that previous high of day, I'll just cut them. I've got two now. This market's definitely not giving us any headwinds, any tailwinds, excuse me. It's giving us some headwinds. If it can bounce, that would help. 1 DTE, I assume. Yeah, I bet it is doing good with this price action. Wow, it's up 27% already. Holy moly. Huh. I may need to transform that thing. Just get rid of the risk. Probably go into a bullish vertical. See if we catch a bounce here off this big sell-off. Was it supposed to be today? Oh, I didn't know that. So they just announced they would not be doing it today? What is their problem? They need to get it together. Declined a rule on challenge to his signature. Take at least another month. Oh, jeez. So we got that lingering out there for another month. Oh, yeah, there you go. There's your premium suckage. I did go ahead and let my BICs fire. I need to post that in the BIC channel here. All right, so little pop in SNDK here from my entry. AMD, I've only got one lot left. Just going to see if it has another leg up. Bitcoin bouncing. Getting some bounces out of big tech a little bit. Crypto stocks bouncing. PLTRs back up to highs a day. MU is cratering. PLTR popping back up. AMD, it kind of hit my two targets here. I'm just gonna go ahead and close my last AMD. Filled at 584. So I've still got my two lots in SNDK. Google bouncing back up towards highs. Kind of looks like it wants to break through. Double calendars on long holiday weekends, Abash. No bueno. Not that that had anything to do with the volatility crush we just saw, but they typically do not perform well. All right, SNDK, no follow through on that bounce. Should black those out. All right, SNDK, I'm going to, these dip much more, I'm going to cut them. And call it a wrap on the stream. Just hovering at that level. AMD popping back up. I guess I could have held my last one if it till it broke below previous day high, but Bitcoin still bouncing, IWM bouncing, S&P, NASDAQ not doing much. All right, SNDK is on the cut list. S&DK said not so fast. Not so fast. AMD new highs. Anybody in AMD or SNDK with me this morning? Watson was tending to his goats. He missed it. Hondo took AMD. SK took both. Dave S. Nice. AMD would have been really nice if I had added like I talked about, but I just couldn't do it. Just seen too many times when it starts to lose its relative strength that it doesn't rebound. So I'm okay not doing it, but if anyone did down there at that level, would have been really nice.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
All right, SNDK is trying to hold. Price holds, I hold.
Order filled.
So now AMD getting rejected a little bit. Come on, SanDisk. Let's see a little pop through highs. SanDisky. Moel, I saw your post about the IBIT wheel. Yeah, that call's over 50%, so I'm gonna be rolling. Except I'm sticking with the monthly, so I would go out to 59 DTE. Yeah, I'm staying between 30 and 60 in the monthlies. No, S&DK no continuation. AMD trying to pop back up. PLTR looks like it wants to break out. Goog just pushed through highs. ARM through highs. Ooh, a little poppy pop and SPY and QQQ. Everything's bouncing. Yeah, definitely way more liquidity. Not that it's an issue with doing a couple contracts, but still, it's pretty significant. AMD pushed through highs. And honestly, even 60, like I used to trade a lot of 90, 100-day strangles, short strangles, that you still get some good decay out there. And honestly, this is, like I mentioned, the wheel for me is this is designed to be a pretty low maintenance portfolio for me. Nothing wrong with rolling to the next week, though. IWM trying to get back up to highs. All right, it may be on. The push may be on, my friends. The squeeze may be approaching. Who do I want to participate in the squeeze with? MU still dipping. AMD still pushing. SNDK doing nothing. Amazon breaking through highs. Hood approaching highs. All right, SNDK back down to a level of about to be cut. AMD's pumping. Every time I'm about to cut SanDisk, it kind of ticks back up, so it's hanging on. Hanging on by a thread. More important than any other level. All right, I'm going to cut. Just because Watson said it's an important level. Filled at 1430. All right, so two winners, AMD and SNDK. I'll watch to see if I see anything else materialize. Otherwise, good start to the week. We'll be back for Power Hour Live, 45 minutes before the bell I'm probably going to transform my 1DTE pretty soon here. It's up about 23%. It was looking better a little bit before this pop, but kind of looks like a squeeze is might be having a little squeeze up today, so I'm going to try to find something to participate in that with. But if so, I will post in the directional trade channel. Have a good day, everyone. Talk to you soon.